Howdy folks, I'm Dreary Dusted Skipper, dutifully dusting dusty dungeons.
I'm Amber.
And here are more dusty dungeons for us to dutifully dust. I don't know why we're doing this as a butterfly when we could just be out skipping around in the fields. Oh, and folks, if this is your first time viewing or you're a new viewer, welcome. This is a show where we stand around and watch you do chores for the next 20 minutes.
No, that's a lie, but we do have a live stream coming up.
Oh yes, and we have a live stream coming up on Friday. So for more information, please see the end of the video. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Do My Boyfriend's Laundry After He Told His Mom That I Don't Do Anything Around the House? So, I'm a 26-year-old female, and I live with my boyfriend, a 28-year-old male, and we've been together for 3 years, living together for 1. We both work full-time, but I also cook, clean, do the laundry, grocery shop, handle the bills, and I take care of our cat. He'll sometimes take out the trash or wash a dish, but that's about it. I've brought it up before, and he says that he'll try to do more, but he never really follows through. Well, last weekend we visited with his parents for dinner. Out of nowhere, his mom says to me, "So, what do you actually do around the house? Boyfriend's name says that you're not really the domestic type." I literally just blinked at her. I laughed awkwardly, and I said, "Well, if by not domestic you mean I do everything, then sure. Sure." She didn't even laugh. He looked embarrassed, but didn't say a single word to defend me. On the way home, I asked him what that was all about, and he said, "I just meant that you don't really enjoy housework." Dude, who does? I was mad. He apologized lightly and said that it was just a joke, so I decided to take a little break from his laundry. I stopped doing his clothes completely, didn't say a word, just folded mine and left his in the basket. Well, a week passed, then 2, and I could see his pile growing. Finally he asked, "Are you mad again or something? You haven't done my laundry." I just said, "I thought you said that I don't do anything around the house, so I figured that I would live up to that label." Now he is saying that I'm being petty and immature, and even his mom texted me saying that I should just let it go already. I told her that I would be happy to let it go right into the washing machine with the rest of his responsibilities. So am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, but OP, is this really the right relationship for you? Your partner does not pull his weight, lies to his mom, and then goes crying to mommy when you stop doing his laundry.
Yeah, I mean, this just doesn't seem like a healthy relationship at this point in time. He's already kind of making it seem like OP doesn't do anything, and now, when OP called him out on it, instead of apologizing and, recognizing what he did was wrong, he kind of just said, "Oh, it's a joke," and didn't really mean it.
Right, well, and to top that off, the only thing OP stopped doing was his laundry. It sounds like she's still cooking for him and cleaning things. Like, I mean, if I were OP, I would have just, stopped doing everything. But no, she stops one thing, and he is over here crying to his mom about how unfair OP is, as if he's not able to do his own laundry.
Well, I think that's just it, right? He is able to do his own laundry, and he's just refusing to do it. So I don't know why this is OP's responsibility. Maybe he does need to take some time to learn how to do his own chores. And yeah, I just don't think that this is the best or healthiest relationship. It's not looking that way. Because one, they're not really kind of working together as a team at this point, right? Like, instead of sitting down and talking through these problems and stuff like that, they're kind of allowing the friction to build and, allowing this fight to kind of continue on. And at that point in time, he should have sat down and kind of talked to OP, and they could have worked things out and figured things out, right? But instead of doing that, they're just kind of letting things fester. So I don't know. I think that this probably isn't going to be a relationship that lasts too much longer. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Individual Cloud 7656 says, "Are you seriously this much of a doormat? He told his mommy that you don't do anything around the house, then expects you to do his laundry anyways. Now you're asking if you're the jerk. Why are you still with him?" And Emergency says, "And he tattled on her to his mom. And mom texted her, for crying out loud." And Patient Gas 5245 says, "He lied, stating he didn't at all. He went and told his mommy that she stopped doing his laundry. OP needs to drop the rope and find a better person." And Jody Nage says, "Yep. And let me tell you, if my son ever came to be complaining that his girlfriend stopped doing his laundry, then I would tell him to get over it and do his own laundry. I can't imagine my son doing that though. He's 21 and he kept a fairly tidy apartment all on his own. He completely is capable of being self-sufficient if/when he ever lives with a girlfriend. I mean, how many times have we heard the story where the guy is completely self-sufficient on their own, and then suddenly they move in with a girlfriend and they can't pick up the laundry?
Well, that's the problem, is like so many people will just use antiquated gender roles to get out of doing stuff they don't want to do.
And Seven Umbrellas says, you stop doing one chore and he's calling you petty and immature and having his mommy text you about it? I'm torn between you should dump him and you should stop doing everything for him. Cook for yourself, grocery shop for one, do your own dishes, and let his rot in the sink. Not the jerk, and remember, the whole issue came up because your boyfriend badmouths you to his mother, and she thinks that she has a say in this relationship. Do you really want her as a mother-in-law? Yeah, I mean, once you're getting to the point where you're stopping doing chores and stuff like that, then, I mean, like, I think the chore balance is unbalanced anyways, and that they should rework that so that it's more balanced, but like, if you're breaking down to the point where you're stopping doing anything for your partner at all, then you're not in a partnership anymore. You're just in a frenemy situation.
Well, I mean, there are occasions where someone doesn't realize how much their partner is doing and they need a complete breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
So I don't think that's inherently a terrible thing, but the fact that he is just, instead of recognizing, oh, wow, I guess OP actually is doing a lot, he is like, huh, are you mad at me? Like, you need to get over this.
Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for doing everything myself and then sitting there staring at my girlfriend doing and saying nothing while she had a full-on meltdown and went off on me? I am a 26-year-old male and my girlfriend is a 26-year-old female, and she moved in with me 2 years ago. Just completed 2 years yesterday, in fact. We have been together for a total of 4 years, and overall, the relationship has been good. She's usually a lovely partner, and we spend a lot of quality time together. We share a lot of interests, and just in general always got along very well. Not my words alone. But she has this thing where she has to be independent all the time, and she's freaking out because, get this, there isn't anything for her to solve. I make more money than she does. I do a vast majority of the household chores and maintenance work, cook, and whatever else needs doing. It's not like she has the time for doing these things anyways. She's overworked and is often home late, and I work from home. Yes, she's mad at me because I take care of everything too well. We have a leak, it's gone before she even noticed. Light bulb stopped working, changed before you know it. And have to pay the bills today, done before you even wake up. Well, yesterday, when she came home from work, we were celebrating 2 years living together. I had made a special dinner, everything was fine, until she asked me about an issue that we had with the car in the morning. She had to Uber to work today, and asked what I thought it was. And I told her that I already fixed it, and what it was. She looked like she was about to have a stroke. Seriously, she went red with rage and just started screaming at me, and I did what I always do in these kinds of situations. It's not a pattern with her or anything like that. This is the only second time that it's ever happened, but I deal with this a lot with my family. I just sat there with a blank expression, drinking my wine as she continued to go off on me, waiting for her to be done so that we could actually talk. Then my reaction to it became the issue, and she started screaming even more. Eventually, she stopped, and I asked if she was calm enough to talk, and she screamed no. So I just said something along the lines of, okay, when you are, I'll be waiting. And I just went about my night. I did the dishes, I cleaned up the mess that I had made for our date, and I went to my office and I played some video games until I felt sleepy enough to go to bed. We're working now, and she hasn't talked to me today. Left as soon as she woke up. No breakfast, no hi, or morning, just got up, got dressed, and left. Am I the jerk? Edit, the car is mine, she uses it for work, I generally don't need it. And folks, there are a couple other details. I'm not going to read them from the comments quite yet, but basically, she just gets up in the morning at like 7 a.m. and isn't at work until like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or something like that, and so she just doesn't have a whole lot of time, and OP has kind of made that clear, like she's overworked and stuff like that. So I do think that kind of plays into the situation. But what do you think?
I'm going to say Opie's not the jerk. I would say there are no jerks here except for her reaction. I understand that she is having a rough time, maybe a bit of an identity crisis where she feels like she's not contributing, bringing anything to the table. Like,
Yeah.
That's a really hard feeling. But instead of working on finding a constructive way to deal with those feelings, she is taking it out on OP. And it sounds like she probably doesn't have time in her day for therapy. So like, because if you're going from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., there's not a lot of therapists who can take a client at like 9 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah.
So, it's a rough situation all around, but I think that it's important for her to start working on these feelings and not directing her anger at OP.
Yeah, and maybe even look for a different job,
Yeah.
right? Like it seems like she is having an identity crisis, and that is a rough situation. And if this is impacting her mental health to the point where she's having, full on rage meltdowns, then that's not good, right? And she's taking this out on the wrong person
Mm-hmm.
because it's not OP's fault that she has to work all this time and is unable to have a whole lot of free time to do other things, right? And I get where she's coming from, and I can see where her frustration stems from. But she should be being grateful that somebody is willing to help her out in this respect, right? When you're a team, when you're in a partnership like this, it's a victory for both of you when everything is able to, be done and stuff like that. And I would be cautious if I were OP2 because they might end up starting to resent at a certain point in time how much they are doing, right?
Right.
So probably couples therapy at the very least at this point in time, if they can go on and find like a weekend session or something like that when she doesn't have a lot of work time. And then hopefully she can also see some individual therapists, maybe on the weekend if she can. It's a really hard situation, but this is really something that she needs to work on for herself and maybe find a different job and, reduce the amount of stress that she's dealing with because it's just not, seems like it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And Johnny Go says, it can be genuinely perceived that you're not the jerk, and that really depends on the kind of partner that you want. People would generally appreciate being taken care of the way that you are taking care of yours, others not so much. And that works both ways. Couples typically would like to solve problems and tackle issues together as a team because that's what the two of you do. And it sounds like you're robbing your partner of that role. In all of your examples, it doesn't sound like you are communicating beforehand your intention and plans to fix whatever issue is going on, and that's not okay. If my wife made decisions about our children without consulting me and seeking my input, that's not a partnership and would be diminishing my role in our family unit. Sounds like your partner doesn't appreciate being robbed of their autonomy to solve problems and contribute to whatever issues arise, and even the day-to-day chores, errands, etc. Listen to them, ease up, and let them contribute to the team. In respect to the blow-up, obviously not the way to communicate, but frustration and resentment builds over time. You admit your partner has brought this up before, and it sounds like it has been in more respectful ways. So you're the jerk for not being considerate of their previous attempts to communicate and waving off their concerns. And Anxious Throwaway 4759 says, oh my goodness, thank you. This was exactly my read on the situation. Sounds like this is a recurring issue that the girlfriend has brought up before, but it just goes in one ear and out the other for OP, thus leading to, not appropriate mind you, meltdown. Like, why don't you let her do more stuff around the house, or just include her in doing the stuff with you? And OP replies, because she's out of the house 12 hours a day. She gets maybe like 2 to 3 hours of free time every day. And in that time, she has to eat dinner, shower, prep her things for the next day, take care of her own stuff, like her laundry. If I left things for her to do, then they wouldn't get done. And they would pile up because she doesn't have the time. Like, I can't ask her to go to the post office for me because it opens when she needs to be at work, and it closes before she clocks out. Same with the car. If I left the cooking to her, then we would have dinner at 11 p.m., and be up to around midnight to eat and do the dishes. But she's already in bed by 11 because she gets up at 7. Am I supposed to just let the house turn into a horrific mess during the week so that we can clean together on the weekends instead of going on dates or visiting her parents? So what do you think of all that?
I mean, I think that, the context wasn't there in the original post. I think with this context, and that was kind of what I was basing, I knew the whole 12-hour thing when you said it.
Yeah.
uh, it is kind of an impasse. Like there's a certain point where things have to get done, and only one person can do them. That person has to be the one to do it.
Yeah. I think that if she has a desire to do certain chores, then they need to communicate and say, well, these are your responsibilities and you get to do them if you want, and you can do them whenever you want, including on the weekends, right?
Right, but there are some things like, that are only open during the weekday and whatnot, and so that makes some, like, some errands you can only run like 8 to 5 or whatever.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Boyfriend's Family That I Bought the House, Not Him? This is a throwaway account. The whole thing started last month or so. Me, a 27-year-old female, and my boyfriend, a 26-year-old male, who I'll call Matt for privacy's sake, have been together for 6 years now. I'm the main breadwinner, and this has always been a struggle in our relationship. I would say that he's pretty insecure of earning less than me. About a year ago, I had finally saved up enough to purchase a house in the neighborhood that I really liked. Up until then, me and Matt had been living in his apartment, which is cramped and not located in a nice area. Matt has never been too bothered about moving. He likes living in his apartment, and he didn't mind living elsewhere, as long as he doesn't have to pay more than half. Knowing that I could easily purchase the whole house, and it was a bargain for that area, I bit the bullet, and I bought it from my own savings. When we moved in, Matt loved the place, and I thought that everything was fine. Now, this is the reason that I'm posting on Reddit. 2 days ago, me and Matt were over at his mom's place for dinner. Conversation was going fine until the topic of the house was brought up. My mother-in-law mentioned how proud she was of Matt for owning his own house at 26, which I was confused about. But obviously, I didn't want to start anything at the dinner table. Then Matt's sister chimed in about how much of an achievement it was. Matt just looked over at me, not saying anything. I'm not usually petty or a confrontational person, but something about the fact that I was the one who not only bought the house, but also paid a majority of the bills, and Matt didn't even drop $1, stuck with me. So I decided to say something. I asked Matt, who really bought the house in front of everyone. I know that it was a jerk move, but honestly, I was so riled up by that stage. Matt said nothing, and then I announced to everyone that Matt didn't even contribute to buying the house. Immediately after saying that, I packed up my stuff and I went home. I have been texting with Matt's sister, who I'll call Kate, who seems to be on my side. Matt is staying with his mom right now, so I have the house all to myself. He hasn't contacted me yet, and I don't know whether it's worth breaking up over a lie like this. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, it seems like he was trying to take all the credit for something that he didn't do. Like the way that his family was praising just him makes it seem like he suggested that he was the one who took all the initiative with the house.
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest problem here, and I think that OP needs to reflect on if that's the kind of partner that they want to have or whatnot. And, if there was some kind of, misconception, then he should have corrected it in the moment. He looked over at OP, they exchanged the knowing glance of, oh, this isn't such a good thing. And I want to know how his family got the idea that he bought this house.
Right. I mean, presumably that's what he told them. I think the OP says in the comments that, the sister, basically, he confirmed that he was saying that he paid for it or something. But yeah, and I mean, it would have been different if the family had kind of congratulated both of them. I feel like that's the place where you bite your tongue. Because but the fact that it was all focused on just him, that's kind of the point. And he didn't say anything. If he'd stepped in and been like, oh, no, that might have been different. But again, he was just taking all the praise and I totally, this is my house.
Well, how is that going to work out in his favor in the end anyways, right? Because houses will be premarital asset type of thing, right? So if they ever broke up for one reason or another, even after marriage, they're going to find out that Matt wasn't really truthful in his whole, I bought the house thing. So I don't know. It just seems like a really bad idea to lie about something, and something this big too, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Oops, all jerks. Apparently the wheel doesn't like OP that much.
I mean, I think it's fine given the circumstances. Again, under other circumstances that might have been kind of rude to correct, but
Well, I mean, it does say oops, so it sounds like they're saying that OP might have been unintentionally, the jerk in this situation.
Yeah, but I don't see OP as a excuse me. I don't see Opie as a jerk at all. I'm disagreeing with the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if the truth makes you look bad, then you probably deserve to look bad. So I don't think that OP's in the wrong here. They were being honest. I think they may have said it in not the most tactful or diplomatic way, but I can understand why they would get annoyed. I think they should have just corrected it when the parents first said something and been like, oh, I actually bought the house, right? Instead of like letting it continue on in the conversation.
Well, I think she was just hoping her boyfriend would step in because like it was his responsibility to correct that error.
Yeah. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you say about a grounded meteor?
A grounded meteor? Well, I would say that it was probably did something wrong, like, break some windows or something like that, so that it's grounded. I mean, you don't get to play baseball, meteor, and then break some houses' windows because you smashed into third base, and that would be bad.
It's down to earth.
It's down to earth?
Yeah, like literally grounded up on the ground.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking like punishment grounded, but
I wasn't even thinking of that. So when you started going with that, I was like, oh, I guess there is another meaning.
yeah.
And today is Earth Day.
Oh, Earth Day. So make sure to appreciate that the Earth isn't being pelted by meteorites. Happy Earth Day. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Terrific Tuesday, spelled TWO. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on one-sided or imbalanced relationships.
Relationships can't always be 50-50 all the time, but it's nice to strive for as much balance as possible where both partners feel like they are equal contributors.
That's a great philosophy. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!